Hello student, I hope you guys are doing great, and my name is Vinokali I. I will be your pole science teacher, and for today's class we'll be dealing with chapter 1, that is Introduction to Political Theory. But since our topic is very vast, and since this the topic itself is very vast, so I'm going to divide this topic into 3 parts. So today I'll be discussing only about political science, the meaning of political science, the scope of political science, and yes, these things in the first part. So before moving on to this meaning of political science and the scope of political science, I would like to give a gist of about politics. So, everyone is found to be living in a society, and see, when we live in a society, there is a great advantage, and that advantage is we have a good communication, we have a good service towards each other, we have a good better service towards each other. So that is the advantage of a society. But in the midst of that, there arises disagreement, conflict, and tension in the society. And the reason behind that disagreement, conflict, and this tension is that it may be because of economic difference, it may be because of gender bias, it may be because of religion differences, or it may be because that society is too conservative, or because of the liberal views of these things. So these are the things that arises out in the midst of the good society, and the society, they provide various mechanisms in order to resolve that problems and bring out a solution to that problem. So when the society brought out various mechanism, government was considered to be the most effective mechanism in resolving the dispute. So the core function of the government is to make laws, is to enforce the law, to implement the laws, and to resolve the dispute and bring out the solution for that problem. And all of these things are are within the range of politics, and that is how politics is made up of. And why political science is considered to be the most appropriate title for discipline. Political science, see, there are many scientists, many political scientists, they came up with various, and they put forward various titles for the study of politics and political behavior. But politics and political science are complementary to each other, complementary to each other, and the term politics was unobjectionable, and that is how the political science is considered to be the appropriate title. Not only that, but even the modern concept, they bring out a usage of in the name of this they bring out a new usage of a new meaning of political science, that is a public affairs or the problems of the government. So why did why the political science is considered to be the most appropriate title for the discipline is because, in short, political science deals with all of these phenomena, the problems of the state, the distribution and the dynamic distribution of powers between the government, or dealing with the problems of the government, or dealing with the public affairs. So all of these things comes within the range of political science, and that is why political science is considered to be the appropriate title for the discipline. And let's move on to the meaning of political science. See, the meaning of political science, it varies from time to time. Not only that, but it varies from according to the political thinkers. Some might view politics or political science as a study of city-state, as a study of the struggle of power, as the study of the human behavior. All of these things come up. And it changes according to the time and according to the political thinkers. So the ancient Greek view politics as a city-state. The word itself is derived from the Greek word polis, which means city and state. And like Plato and Aristotle, they did not make any distinction between city and state. This city and state, it is talking about the government, and within this city and state, it contains church, it contains religion, it contains education institution, it contains university all in one. So these are these come within the range of politics, and this is how the ancient Greek view politics. And the ancient Indian conception of politics was indigenous and was original. There was an evidence of developed political thinking in the ancient India, like in the works of Shankaracharya, in the works of Kautilya, and they gave a various name to politics like Rajadharma, like Dandanti and Arthashastra. So like Kautilya defined politics in his book Arthashastra, and this book contained 15 books. So the first 5 book deals with the state affairs, with the internal administration of the state, and the next 8 book deals with the state relation with the neighboring countries, and the last 2 deals with the miscellaneous. So this is how they view politics. And the traditional view of politics, the Jean Bodin, the father, he is a French writer, and he coined the term political science. So like Jean Bodin and like other political thinkers of this traditional view, politics as a science of state. So this science of state, it is mainly talking about the great importance of the state and the government. In brief, the politics, in brief, for this traditional view of politics, it is all about the study of the state and the government. So in short, the state and government become the most important in the subject matter of political science. And not only that, but political scientists of this traditional approach, they laid a great emphasis on the organization, on the composition of the institution, which means the government. So they laid a great emphasis on the institution who make laws, which enforce, who enforce the laws, or who resolve the dispute between the individuals, or the individuals and the state. And the modern conception of political science, under this we have 4 approaches. So the first approach is the liberal Marxian conception. So in this liberal, they view politics as an instrument of social welfare. And according to this T.H. Green and Hobhouse, the liberal political thinkers, they view that politics only can bring law and order in the society. So they view political science in the instrument of state of they view politics as an instrument of social welfare. Also, they view politics as the one that brings social and the law and order into society. And according to the Marxian conception, for them, state is nothing more than a machine for the oppressed by one class of one class by another. So this, according to Marxist-Leninist doctrine, every form of government protect the privilege of the ruling classes. This is all about the liberal and Marxian conception of politics. And the second is the behavioral approach. The intellectual godfather of behavioralism, that is Charles Merheim, he argued that political science should be scientifically accurate rather than dealing with the government or the institution. And this behavioralism approach, it view politics as a shifted from process to structure. That means it should not deal, it should give more emphasis to the behavior of the people, of the person, or of an individual or a political group, rather than studying a formal institution of government or other institution which make laws. And the third is the struggle for power. According to Max Weber, according to Bertrand Russell, they view politics as a struggle of power. So, they not only view politics as a struggle of power, but they also laid a great emphasis that political scientists should discover which individuals and how the powers are being exercised in a given society. They also examine the sources of power, like the power may be hereditary, the power may be like success at the polls or illegal seizure of authority. So, and these sources of power, they may be used for doing goods in the society, or they may misuse by the powerful group for their for their selfish gain. So whatever they think it is, in the end, it is all about the struggle of power and the authoritative allocation of values. David Easton, in his book System Analysis, came up with this authoritative allocation of values. So this authoritative allocation of value, it mainly talks view politics as like something wants and desire wants and desire of the people, be it like office, be it like a material wealth or material things and all of this. And also it talks about the binding restriction or the binding decision to be taken by only some group of people. So this, according to David Easton, value means, like I said, it means the desire or the wants of the people. Either it be like the material goods or office or other things, or like material wealth, all of this. And by authoritative allocation, he means that the binding forces or the binding decision, which can be taken only by a group of people or by small organs of the government. So in short, according to this authoritative allocation of politics, they view like politics is all about who gets what, when, and how. So this is all about the meaning of political science. And this meaning of political science, like it is not only dealing with dealing with the state and government, but it is also dealing with the people belief. It is also dealing with the behavior of the individuals or like a political groups in a society. And let's move on to the scope of political science. So the scope of political science, it has a broad sense. Like in the field of this political philosophy, the political science deals with the principle of freedom, justice, and equality. And these principles was like formulated by like this Aristotle, Machiavelli, Locke, Rousseau, Mill, and all of this. And not only that, but with this freedom, equality, and with the principle of this freedom, justice, liberty, and rights and equality, it also talks about that these political scientists also talk about how the state should be organized, or how the people should behave in a given society. Not only that, but even the modern thinkers like Immanuel, Jayaprakash Narayan, B.R. Ambedkar, all of them were influenced by both the liberal and the Marxian view of by the ancient and Western notion of liberalism and humanism and Marxism. And even Amartya Sen, he also made a notable contribution about equality and justice. So the political theory, political science, it not only deals with a particular subject, but it also deals with the principle of freedom, equality, justice, or like the organization of the society, the behavior of the people, and even the equality existence in the society. And the next is the organization of the government. So like the organization of the government. This political science, since we have discussed about the traditional and the behavioral approach, like in the behavioral approach, it says that the state and government should be given more emphasis, and it become a subject matter of political science. But the behavioral approach says that instead of studying state and government or the institution, it should focus on the behavior of the individuals or political groups or individuals, something like that. So though it was emphasizes and though it was shifted from process to structure, still then the political, political scientists still dwell in the approach of this traditional view, and they solely focus on, they give more emphasis on the state and government, the forms of government, either it be, a parliamentary form of government, monarchical form of government, aristocracy, or any kind of government, but it deals also with the forms of government, and not only that, but also the distribution of powers between the government, between the legislative, executive, and the judiciary, also becomes an important field of study under political science. The third is bureaucrats and its behavior. See, the political science, it not only deals with the state and government, it not only deals with the philosophy, but it also deals with the bureaucrats and its behavior. Why is it so? Because in the but bureaucrats, they are the one who is performing an official duties in place of prime minister, in place of executive, like prime minister, president, or a king. So what political scientists is dealing with them is when they perform their official duties, what are the kind of strategies they are using, or how are they using their powers in order to carry out their function, in order to carry out their duties. So political scientists is examining on their behavior towards their functioning of their duties, and not only that, but they are also, political scientists also, political science also deals with the bureaucrats of how they use their powers, or how they function with the given assign. And the judicial system and the legal process. See, the political science, it also deals with the judicial system and the legal process. How it deal with this process is they evaluate on how the laws are being interpreted, or should the courts be empowered to make laws in accordance with the constitution, or how the courts or how the judiciary are resolving the conflict between the individuals, or the individuals and the government and the state. Political science also deals with representatives, election, and voting behavior. See, political science, it also deals with this representative, representation, election, and voting behavior. Like in a democratic form of government, or in any form of government, the representatives are the one who is coming up for all sake. So they are they are evaluating the behavior of the representative, plus they are also evaluating the process during election, and not only that, but also the voters, how are they functioning and how are they participating in the voting process, and how are their behavior towards this political process. So these things are being evaluated by the political science, and it also deals with this kind of things, not only deals with the state and government, but also deals with the behavior, like I told you in the meaning of political science, it deals with the state and government, plus again it changed to the study of this behavior of the individual. So it is all within the range of this political science. And the political parties and pressure group, in authoritative and in monarchical form of government, there is no multi-party system, but in the in democratic form of government, there are lots of parties competing for power, and along with the political parties, there is also a pressure group. So the political scientist is examining on how the pressure group is influencing the political parties, what are the tactics they use to influence the legislature, the executive, or the bureaucrats. And the political culture, see, this political culture was coined by G. Almond, and this political culture, it referred to the attitudes and political beliefs of the people in a given society. And it also evaluates that how much far this political science can go together with the social and economic changes. And the last part of this scope of political science is dealing with world politics and international organization. Like the political science deals with the state and government, with the behavior of the individuals or behavior of the political parties and behavior of the bureaucrats. And not only that, but also it deals with the judicial system and all of this. So the most important thing is that it also deals with the world politics and international relations organization. Like the world politics has become an important concern of political science, and like there are issues which arises out of like terrorism, like global poverty, and not only that, but even for the protection of environment and all of this, it arises out. So it evaluates what are the things that are arising out in the world bodies, and not only that, but it is also dealing with the developing nation, why it is shifting its interest to international economy, which is just and fair. So this is all about the scope of political science, and this is the end of first part.